My poll tax certificate from 1960 when we had to pay $2 or $3 to vote, and we only made $2 or $3. So you had to choose between eating or voting. That was the suppression back in the 60s. If you missed 1 year, they doubled it up on you the next year. I didn't have to pay because I was a veteran. So this is my exemption certificate, but I had to show it. So when they say you don't have to show ID, we've been showing ID since we started voting.
Okay. It's a dirty job, but somebody got to do it. Come on in, rep your city. I'm representing Chicago, Illinois. Let's get it going. Of course, I got to do the dirty work. I got to address Poetik, Flakko, Roland S. Martin. When it comes to people like Roland S. Martin on the internet, the first thing they all got to realize is I'm the commander in chief. I'm the elder. I'm the oldest, most active Black American on social media. Probably Black person, period. I'm the top. Roland is younger than me. Roland was born in 1968, which means technically he would know a little bit by 1978, but he really wouldn't be efficient as far as knowledge from Black people, until 1988. So Roland knows nothing personally about the plight of foundational Black Americans until 1988. He knew some stuff in 1978. That's the year I graduated from high school. Roland knows absolutely nothing personally about the civil rights movement. Nothing. Black people were absolutely free in 1970, and Roland Martin was 2 years old. 2 years old. So this is out of his league, and we're going to go from there. So I'm going to go down the line. I'm going to start out with Poetik, Flakko. I got up this morning. What I do, I scroll through social media to see what's going on with the people, what's going on in the world, what's going on in with the people. Social media is light years ahead of the newspaper. When I was young, men would get up and women, and they would read the newspaper. And the newspaper was always very limited because if it was the Chicago Sun-Times, most of the articles would be about Chicago. If it was the New York Times, most of the articles would be about New York. Now with social media, we can see what's going on in the whole world. And then it's based by you. So social media is as powerful as you make it. Whatever you look for, that's what you're going to learn. So it's on you to look for the information that's valuable. It's all there. So sometimes people criticize social media. No, social media is great. It's on you to find the subject matters that you find interesting. You're trying to fix your car? Social media. You're trying to do improvements to your house? Social media has all of that. You're trying to eat better? Social media has that. And we're going to talk about that when we get to Roland Martin, because Roland Martin, to me, is totally unqualified to even talk to Black people because he doesn't take care of himself. So everything he says is irrelevant. Roland, everything you say is irrelevant because soon as we click on and see you, we see a sick man, overweight, and doesn't take care of himself. All your advice after that is trash. You don't take care of yourself. You're babbling about everything, but you're sick. Where we do that at? Roland, you are sick. You can't even see your neck. Over the years, look what you've done to yourself. So how do you have good advice for anybody and you look a mess? You're sick. We're going to get back to you, Roland. Fix it, bro. Today I had to unsubscribe. I've been watching you, but you haven't really brought anything to the table. You're just taking up space on my YouTube subscriptions. I had to unsubscribe. You're bringing nothing to the table. We're going to get to that. And then we're going to get to the African brother over there. We're going to get to you too, Dr. Greg Carr. We're going to get to you. You're not doing a good job. We're going to get to that. This is Big Pharaoh. Okay, Dr. Carr. Shout out to Dr. Yosef Ben-Jochannan, Henry Clark. Okay. All right. Chancellor Williams. I don't think Dr. Carr, I don't think they would like you too much. That's another story. I gotta start. Oh God. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. So, Foundational Black Americans and our plight for reparations has everybody's pennies up in a bunch. Now, before I get started, I'm going to say this a couple times. Keep your eye open. One thing how you could tell that some of these brothers are definitely not as black as they say. I mean, on Roland Martin, every time they get pissed at Tyreek or FBA, the first thing they say is, you're not going to get reparations. You're not going to get reparations anyway. Whoa. Whoa. Really? Whoa. Whoa. Oh, whoa. I need to go clip that off of Roland's. Listen, I swear to God, the first thing these they're so down for black people. When they get angry at foundational Black Americans, the first thing they say is, you're not going to get reparations anyway, which is absolutely treason. Absolutely. That's disrespect to go all the way back to the black people that have been asking for reparations, and all we're doing is continuing their work. And for the fact that you put us continuing our work, especially the historian, the Greg Carr. So he's a Pan-African. And Pan-Africans got their panties in a bunch because Pan-Africanism has totally failed. And so now some of them are stuck with 20, 30 years. Like Sarah Susan said, he's stuck with hollering about Africa. He don't know how to turn a car. So all of them is got their panties in a bunch because Pan-Africanism is absolutely DOA. Because what we got is African leaving Africa. You know, a million Africans are leaving Africa. Africans are fleeing Africa. And that's not really the real numbers. Those are the ones leaving legitimately. Those ain't the ones that on them boats going to Europe. So Africans are fleeing Africa. So Pan-Africanism is dead in the water. There's no Pan-Africanism in Africa. Okay? The South African told the other Africans to get out. That's not Pan-Africanism. That's tribalism. So the African brothers and sisters do not want to deal with Pan-Africanism. They want to live just like FBA, and they want to look at their lineage. And I don't blame the South Africans. They want to make sure that everything is good for South Africans. And I agree with the South African brothers and sisters 100%. And what they're doing in South Africa is what Black immigrants are doing here. They're undermining us. They don't join with us. And when we tell them to get out, they try to say, we're with the whites. No, you are siding with white America being used as a tool to destroy their number one competitor. See, here we're the number one competitor against white America. You Africans and Caribbeans, y'all not. So they use you to stop our growth. They use you to pay you less to do movies. They use you to pay you less for what we want. When we go to college and universities and we go to work for a hospital, we want the same pay as the white dude. We know you Africans and them, y'all gonna take less. It's a fact. You take less. You do the movie for less. You're not gonna charge what we charge. You're not Denzel. You're not the great actors and actresses. You don't have that long history in movies that we have. So you undermine us. It's a fact. But God don't like ugly. And now Africans are undermining Africans. And so now how do you like that? Because now if they don't want to pay you in Nigeria, they'll bring in some Africans somewhere else and pay them less than the Nigerians. That's a fact. We're going to get to all of that. But first I'm going to get to Flakko. Now, I watched Flakko's commentary, and Flakko's commentary was very good. I like Poetik Flakko a lot. He's a brother from Nigeria, but what I see, and he's young compared to me. So his couple little mistakes, I might say something, but he gets a pass. I like Poetik Flakko. Flakko, if you're watching this, you're doing a good job. So Flakko spoke on it, and Flakko supports reparations for Black Americans. Flakko doesn't like FBA because he feels that FBA has been involved with trashing Africans. It hurts his feeling because he said that, Foundation Black Americans are calling Afro babies dusty and all of that. I do understand that. But what Flakko don't understand is Flakko is only seeing that side. Flakko ain't seeing what the Africans is doing. And what Flakko don't understand is the Africans been doing it. And so have the Jamaicans. So I'll give you an example. Some people say, well, they used to call Jamaicans banana boat. But that was only in New York. So when Jamaicans went to California, Chicago, and all that, started calling us Yankees, we hadn't done nothing to them. At the time when Jamaicans were calling me a Yankee, I had no name for Jamaicans. Real talk, we never had no name for them. Like we never had no name for Africans. When we was kids, we used to say African booty scratchers, but we wasn't talking about Africans, we was talking about each other, right? And we used that to diss each other. Now, of course, that's disrespectful to Africa, but we was kids, so we wasn't looking at it like that, right? We wasn't looking at it like disrespecting Africa. We was looking at that as jokes on each other. We were calling each other African booty scratchers because it sounds funny. not because it had anything to do with African. It was the booty. It was the booty scratcher part. That was the part. That was the kick. African was irrelevant. You could have been any kind of booty scratcher, and it would have been hilarious. So that really had nothing to do with Africa. The key of the insult was booty scratcher. That was the insult, right? But we never really had names for Africans. So Poetic Flakko, his feelings got hurt with the way he's seeing a lot of foundational Black Americans trash in Africans, but Poetic Flakko is not seeing or not realizing that that's a response. For example, if we start calling Haitians all kind of dirty dogs, Poetic Flakko got to understand that Haitian woman, for no reason, said Black Americans are dirty. The way people think is, if you're a Haitian woman and you're comfortable with saying Black Americans is dirty, we figure that's how you talk to that's how y'all talk when y'all not around us. And that's right. That's absolutely correct. That's a general consensus from Haitians who have one of the dirtiest countries in the world. Go figure. So for Flakko to just bring up, make it one-sided, he have to understand that there's only one group of Black people on this planet that other Blacks can be jealous of. And that's us. We're the number one achievers. And we're the number one achievers in the worst situation. We've achieved more than all the Africans. And we've achieved more than all the Blacks in the Caribbean. And we achieved that coming out of slavery. So common sense Flakko would ask you which group would be most jealous. It wouldn't be us. We've been to Sidney Poitiers. We've been to Diana Rosses and the Supremes. We've been to Temptation. We've been Shaft. We've been to Dr. J's, the Michael Jordans. We've been that. So if you look in terms of jealousy, it's common sense that Black immigrants would be the haters. Because we the ones got the most reason for you to hate. Jamaicans was singing our songs. We never was singing no Jamaican songs. Jamaicans was remaking our songs. Did you stop? In the name of love. They was taking our songs and making reggae versions of our songs. They was coming up here working on the sugar cane down south and sending our records back to Jamaica and selling them, making money. My parents, we never listened to no damn Jamaican music or no African music or nothing like that. We listened to the Supremes, Aretha Franklin, the Four Tops. We made our own way with no help from Africans and no help from nobody. Don't bring up Dusable. Dusable ain't got shit to do with 1950s and 60s. Don't bring up no fake stuff. Everything, the grind. Every Black person that comes to this country that gets on the bus, foundational Black Americans in the South. Every one of you. Without my ancestors getting beat up and everything they went to, and they walked for 1 year, Blacks in Alabama didn't take a bus for a year. For the rest of you Blacks to come over here and get the right to ride the bus. So I like Poetic Flakko. He like my brother. He's from Nigeria, but I like Poetic Flakko. So I'm just giving him some information. Because one thing I know about Flakko, he'll take the information. He's like fair. And so Flakko, when you see foundational Black Americans trash at Africans, that's a back and forth. Don't make it like it's us. It's bruh. And they're doing it the most. We're not really thinking about Africans like that. We're not trying to go to Africa. They trying to come, they coming here. We're not going to Africa and becoming doctors and nurses and mistreating them in the hospitals. Africans are coming here, working in hospitals, being doctors, and mistreating us. That's a fact. When I got stabbed in LA, I had to talk to the boss of the hospital for the African woman not to touch me. The lady hated me. Why? I'm a patient in the hospital from a stabbing. I don't know this lady. She was older than me. She was an older lady too. She was probably like in her young 50s. I'm in my late 20s. That lady hated me. The Filipinos didn't necessarily like me, but they didn't hate me. The whites, they did good work. They just treat you like a patient. But the African lady, I had to talk to the head administrator. I had to have my mother go and get the administrator and tell the administrator, I don't want that lady touching me. You understand? And so, Flakko, I'm just giving you some knowledge on that so you could be, because I know you'll take it and you'll deal with it. So, all you got to do is think who going to be jealous of who. Africans have nothing to be jealous of, bro. We don't see black immigrants like that. The only black people that see black immigrants is in New York and Miami. Maybe, LA, they see a lot of Mexicans and stuff. But like Chicago, we don't have any we don't have any we don't really have no contact with Africans. I mean, I don't see Africans. Where? They pretty much stay up to themselves. Now, the disrespect is getting our historic active roles. The only reason getting our historic FBA roles is disrespectful because you don't deal with us. You see, if Africans was our brothers and sisters over here, there wouldn't be a problem. If we were intermarrying, if we lived together, it would just be some more black people. But the reason Foundation Black Americans, we reject the concept of being black because we not united. We don't reject being black just to reject it. We reject it because it's not a reality. The reason that I don't want Africans playing our historical roles because you don't mess with us. You're not. Who are you? You can't just pop up and play our characters, but we don't never see you. You're not in our communities or nothing. The only black immigrants that mess with us is Jamaicans. Jamaicans are the only black people that come and open a restaurant right where we at. They always be friendly. They always have great service. They stand outside and talk to us. We know Jamaicans. I know Jamaicans. I know a lot of Jamaicans personally. I don't know no Africans. None. The only black people that's not from here that we have any relationship with is Jamaicans. What? It's a fact. Now, some of them started calling us Yankees, and that's what we're going to get to this. So, Flakko, you cool. Just fix some of that was wrong. Oh, one more thing, Flakko. You said Tariq Nasheed. Let's deal with Tariq Nasheed. So now they're pushing Tariq Nasheed like Tariq Nasheed is our leader. Now, we do look at Tariq Nasheed as a leader as far as a spokesperson. The reason Tariq Nasheed is highly regarded is because the title Foundational Black American is extremely a great title. It's just that simple. Hate him or love him, Foundational Black Americans is the best title we've ever had. Better than Negro, better than colored, and better than black. That's why we love Tariq Nasheed. No matter what he do. When he came up with that, yeah, he hit a grand slam. What do you want me to say? And you can go watch my videos if they up. I took a lot of them down when I got demonetized. But I was pushing adults. And a matter of fact, I criticized Tariq when he came out with FBA because I was like, bro, we already got something. Why you dividing? But I kept saying American descendants of slaves, I ain't no damn slave. So then I was like, Tariq is right. That's why I don't go against. I'll never go against Tariq again because he was right. He was right. That's a better description. Foundational Black American, American descendants of slaves. I'm not a descendant of slaves. My descendants was in slavery, but my parents is Randolph and Bessie Stewart. And they wasn't no slaves. So I don't like the descendant of slaves. Foundational Black American is going down in history. That's going to be our new description. I was born in 1958. I know what I'm talking about. I came up when all the different titles. Now, I keep trying to tell people, African American, we never called ourselves African Americans. African Americans was a news term. It was not a neighborhood term. It was not. I was born and raised in Chicago, and we never called ourselves African American. African American was a title made up so it would have something to go along with the terms Chinese American, Italian American, Greek American, Polish American. So then they said, okay, we'll call y'all African American since we can't attach you to any country. This is a fact. That is a news term. Stop saying Jesse Jackson did not make that up. The reason Jesse Jackson, people think he made it up, because where was Jesse Jackson always seen talking? On the news. So Jesse was using the news term. Now, if you wasn't born in 1958 or later or earlier, you can't talk to me at all about this. Period. If you wasn't here and you're trying to tell me something in a book, Big Pharaoh, in the capital of Black America, let's make no mistake, Chicago run Black people. This is the number one FBA city in the country. Let's not make no mistake. Any kind of way you want to do it. Business, money, population. If you want to go to war, this number one. Gangs, original gangsters. It's original gangs. It was vice lords way before it was Crips and Bloods. Well, no Crips or no Bloods. When I got to LA in 82, the Crips and Bloods was just really trying to get started. Facts. Jeff Ford already had the fort. They had already changed the El Rukins. They was already El Rukins before. You know, because when I got to LA, they called the Crips cowards running packs. That's what it meant in the streets of LA. It meant cowards running packs to the citizens. Ask some old Crips, they're gonna be like, damn, OG really know what he's talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So Chicago run all this, right? So that's Poetik. So, but Poetik, you good. You're good to go. I liked your commentary. You made some mistakes, but how would you know? You're from Africa, but you did pretty good. But the only mistake you made, Poetik Flakko, is when you said black people be calling y'all names. No, we be calling y'all names back. Now, let me address that. Somebody gonna say, well, there was names for Africans, yeah, in the 60s and 70s, but it never went nowhere. You know why? The Africans made a mistake because they started doing it on Twitter, on X, on Facebook. So they accelerated that. The Africans, it's all on X, calling us all type of shit, making videos, and that's where Poetik, he just left that part out. He left out Akata. He left that out. And what Poetik Flakko is leaving out is that Africans call us slaves, right? So now you got to think, when you're an African and you call us a slave, and Africans got a history of selling their own people into slavery, that ain't like calling you no African booty scratcher. You calling me a slave, you calling me something. We actually got unalived in slavery. We actually got brutalized in slavery. And so Poetik, you missed the layup on that one, calling us a slave. There is nothing we can call an African that will equal calling us a slave. Because whatever we call an African, it ain't historically damaging. But calling us a slave in 2026, 2027, I ain't gonna even say where that's gonna go. Poetik. I'm just saying, on the guys. So I understand, Poetik, why you don't know that, because you wasn't getting called that. And by you being an African, then, whatever we call them is going to affect you, right? So, Poetik is Nigerian. So, of course, he's going to hear everything that we say about Nigerians. He's not necessarily going to be privy to what they say about us. Minus, Nigerians typically are considered a-holes, are considered some of the meanest and most divisive Africans. According to the South Africans and the Ghanaians, nobody likes Nigerians in Africa. But I like Poetik Flakko. He's a black Nigerian that was born here, raised here, right? And so this is all he know. He know he's African, but that's all he know is us. So he got to struggle with, people disrespecting him because he's African brother. But I like Poetik Flakko. I find him to be like, he be really trying to think. He just don't be emotional. That's what I like about bro. Poetik Flakko, he was really trying to think what to say about that. And I understand why a lot of black immigrants don't like Tariq, because what people don't understand is, even though he's at the top when it comes to FBA, Tariq is a comedian. That's what a lot of people don't understand. They don't understand or know Tariq. Tariq wear a lot of hats, and Tariq is a top-notch comedian. So if Tariq roasts Africans, it's going to hurt a little more than a regular person. it's not coming from Tariq when he disrespect Africans. It's not as bad as Africans think, because Africans, they don't diss like we diss. You know, if I get into a Tariq, he gonna say some horrible, funny, crazy shit about me. But that's a part of our culture. It'll be funny to me, but I gotta try to come back. You know what I'm saying? But I can understand if you're, oh, he's Liberian. Yeah, he's a Liberian, right? Liberian. I could have sworn today he says Nigerian. Okay, he's a Liberian, so he's African. And so I can understand why it seems, but Tyreek is a very intelligent person. And I've never seen him diss no Africans that didn't start it. I've never seen that. I've never seen him. I've always seen it two ways. And with social media, it's horrible. Now, people that say two rights don't make a wrong, but the fact is this: the people that's most in the wrong is the Africans. The Africans are 100% foul. Because when you just look in color of skin, and the Africans is the dominant amount of people, color of skin, they the ones have the responsibility to be the big brother. And this whole comparing us to a whole continent of black folks that ain't got their shit together is bullshit. Africans is foul, are not displaying no type of forms of leadership for black people in Europe, black people in South America. Africans supposed to have a leadership role. They consider that the motherland. And so just the fact to try to even put us close to Africans show you Africans have failed. Because how you going to put us against Africans? With our numbers against 1 billion black Africans and say that millions of black Americans are supposed to carry ourselves a certain kind of way, and it's 1 billion Africans that ain't standing on nothing. Make that make some sense. Just the fact that you compare us to Africans prove we dominate, because they're not even supposed to be a comparison. On top of that, Poetik, y'all ain't even Africans. You're not even Africans. You have no unity. You're not really even, you're not Nigerians. You're not you're tribal. So Africa has no leadership qualities when it comes to black people. Those are the last people we should listen to. Anything Africans have to say about black people, they need to say it in Africa. Get y'all shit together. Don't worry about us. And get out. And I ain't trying to disrespect you, Poetik Flakko, but we don't want Africans over here. Your time is up. There has been no benefit. You're not our brothers. You're not our sisters. You're eating off our plate. You're helping white supremacy underpay us. You're really agents. And we want you to get the hell out. Poetik Flakko, I mean, it's not personal like you. Like I said, I like you. But Africans, I don't really like Africans socially. I don't like them. They failed us once by letting somebody take black people from Africa. They failed us twice. They didn't come to rescue no damn body. So imagine the story allegedly is that Ghanaians start offering the Portuguese slaves, which is factual. The Portuguese didn't want them. Portuguese took a few. They sold well to the Spanish. So the Portuguese came back and got some more. Because the Africans was not selling Africans. The Africans was selling other black people that they was going to war with. So the Africans was going to war with each other because they wasn't Africans. They was tribes. So it's not right to say Africans saw Africans. No, They sold their enemy that happened to be what we now call Africa. But black people in Africa sold black people in Africa to white people in Europe and turned it into a business. They were giving them to them, and as the amount that they was catching the giveaway went away, the whites just came and started taking everybody. They just gangsters. They bought all their people and sold them all over the Caribbean and the United States. And the African leaders never came to rescue nobody. So yeah, we feel a way that you didn't come to check on us. You didn't come to rescue us. And as soon as we start doing good, your black ass over in Africa, oh, they made it? This is my story. Oh God, they doing good? Oh, we go to America. So now here your black ass come. I don't need you now. So you coming to eat off my plate. You're not coming, you're not no brother. What kind of brother come after you made it? Come after they see you doing good. That's not no brother. And Africa ain't no mother. That's why I don't call it Mother Africa, because what kind of mama don't come and look after her kids? And so Africans, yeah, you suck. Coming over here now. We don't need you now. Take your ass back. So now you're coming over here squeezing us out. That's the only reason you're over here. That's just how I look at it. Because you could have been over here in the 40s, in the 30s. You could have been over here in the 1800s. What, you don't know how to build no ships? The white man, the only one know how to build ships. He better than you? Because that's the only thing we can take. Oh, the white man is better than you. He could build ships and go everywhere. Your black ass can't build no ships and do nothing. How are we supposed to like you? And then you get on the internet and call me a slave? When your people is the one sold their own people out and was warring all in the motherland? And then you come over here because you don't know nothing? And you don't know nothing about white Americans? Do you know how white Americans look at blacks from other places when they talk down on black Americans? They hate you too. White Americans believe in unity amongst their people, and they respect unity from other people, even if they got to fight you. So when white Americans see Africans come over here and disrespect other black people, they say if they can't get along with black Americans, you know damn well they ain't gonna get along with us. Am I lying? If I was a white man and I've been over here with black Americans since the beginning of this country, Civil War, Revolutionary War, whether we had problems, whatever, we done fought together, we done ate together, we did everything. We done played sports together, everything. And I see some blacks come over here from Africa and start disrespecting my blacks that I've been dealing with. No, I'm not going to like them. Yes, I'm going to want to deport them. One of the main reasons Trump wants to throw out black immigrants is because the way they dealt with us. That's a fact. My mother taught me if you go up to that school and them kids see you hate your sister, they're going to hate you and your sister. Oh, my soul. And that's Africa. Africa hated on their brothers and sisters. And it ain't no people going to like you. Haitians, the same way. Haitians never worked with us. Only blacks came in and dealt with us, some was Jamaicans. The rest of the blacks came here and alienated themselves from us in front of whites. And they don't like you. They're going to throw you out. Also, you let whites know, I don't got no backup. I'm Haitian. Black Americans, I don't deal with them. They don't back me up. I'm African. So I say, oh. So y'all got 40 million black Americans. They don't back you up so we can do whatever to you? Bet. So militarily, that's stupid. Why would you come here and let them know you don't got no damn backup? Tell me I'm lying. If you're a black immigrant, black Americans would be your backup. You come hate on us in front of the European, you're like, we can do whatever. The black Americans don't give a damn. Throw their ass out. Which they're correct. We don't care. I don't care if they throw black immigrants out. I have no relationship with you. Whose fault is that? I don't know you. All of them. Anyone I don't have no relationship to. If you're going to leave somebody, you leave the Jamaicans. You can leave the Jamaicans. But throw all the rest of them out. We'll straighten out the few Jamaicans that let the word Yankee come out their mouth. We'll yank their key. You know what I'm saying? But we'll work with them. We might could work with them a little bit. I don't know. But at least we know them. Like I said, it's a Jamaican restaurant right across the street from O-Block. Now, some people say, bro, that don't mean they love us. They doing just like the Chinese do. In some cases, you kind of correct. But I have had personal friendships with Jamaicans. I ain't never had no personal friendship with none of the other blacks. So that's just my own personal. Jamaicans was always more accessible. I'm not saying they're great, but I'm saying out of all the blacks, we have the most relationship with them. I'm not saying that they're great, because there's a difference between Jamaicans that have been in America and Jamaicans in Jamaica. Because Jamaicans that have been in America a long time, they're not safe when they go back to Jamaica. Jamaicans don't like Jamaicans that have been in America. For real. They have to be very careful when they go home. Y'all remember that Jamaican couple moved back to Jamaica and they unalived them? Because when the Jamaican live up here 10, 20 years and they go to Jamaica, they, boy, you're a foreign. They call them a foreign. They don't really honor them as Jamaicans. They call them a foreign, bomber-clad foreign boy. Yeah, I've been a foreign, you know? A foreign, they call them a foreigner. You know, real talk. Yeah. When Jamaicans been up here a long time and go back to Jamaica, they don't like them at all. All right, let's take a break, and then we're going to get to Roland Martin and that foolishness. Now, Roland Martin, I just unsubscribed enough, but I liked his work ethic. You know, I'm always going to be, I like how he worked. You know, everything he's doing, he's getting it out the mud. So I like his work ethic, but I don't really, he does a horrible job. Like, seriously. He doesn't let his guests talk. He doesn't get any opposing views. He's never had any foundational Black Americans come over there and talk about foundational Black Americans. So how are you representing information from the Black community when you totally isolate somebody out? Like, seriously, he was supposed to have Tariq Nasheed on his show. Seriously. He's less than professional. Tariq would be able to come on his show, keep it cordial, and discuss the issues. So Roland Martin is totally unprofessional. He's got to go. I'll be glad when he get off TV. Now, my first problem with Roland is he's a horrible example for the black community. Horrible. He's horrible. He's absolutely atrocious because he doesn't take care of himself. And so soon as I click on him and I see him, at first I had concern, like, damn, Roland, what's going on with you? Why I can't see your neck? Why your head getting bigger? I'm like, damn, Roland, you look sick. Right? I'm like, damn, what the hell's wrong with Roland? Because I've been watching Roland way back. I first got introduced to Roland on like CNN, and he was a commentator for them people on the news. And they threw him to the curb, right? With the Donna Brazier chick and all them back then. Who remember? So that's the first place I seen him. And then he had to go do his own thing because they like iced him out. But now when I see his character and I see how he don't let nobody talk, and now he sucks all the air out the room, I see why. He's horrible. His interviews are horrible. The other person might as well not be there because all it is him pushing him. He sucks. He's horrible. Right? Now, Martin is not Haitian. Martin is not Haitian. Now, I'm glad you said it. Martin is not Haitian. That teaching has got to go. You know, we can't be pushing false narratives. Martin is not a Haitian. One of Martin's great-grandparents was Haitian. One of them. You're not a Haitian if you got I think you got 8 great-grandparents, right? You have like 8 great-grandparents. You have 2 grandparents. You have 4 great-grandparents. So he's got 8 great-grandparents. And 1 out of the 8 is a Haitian. There's no way 1 out of 8 makes you a Haitian. I mean, okay. Come on. His mother and father is Black Americans. His grandparents are Black Americans. How the hell is he a Haitian? The only way I can say you Haitian if it's your mama or your daddy. But out your 4 even if it was his grandparents, if one of them was Haitian, you ain't no damn Haitian. Not because the man on your mama's side, your mama, daddy Haitian, her mother Black American, and your other side 2 Black Americans. Like, what the hell? And his numbers is further back than that. There's not even his grandparents. All 4 of his grandparents are Black Americans. Well, they would say they wouldn't be fully Black Americans because of that one Haitian person. But he's not no Haitian. He's what the hell he know about Haiti? What the hell? He would still qualify for reparations from the Blacks in his lineage. So if you could prove all your people was foundational Black Americans, and let's say you got $1,000. If 3 of his was Black Americans, he would get $750. Am I not correct? Even me, let's say my father's a Jamaican and my mother's a Black American. I don't deserve the money from slavery on my mother's side. I'm not going to get the same as you if both parents. Yeah, he doesn't identify as Black American, which I don't. what he identifies and what he is two different things, right? So, but just in terms of he don't identify as Black American, but he definitely ain't nothing else. He definitely ain't no Haitian. You can't just say you're Haitian. I don't know. It's the internet era, Goshen. It's a little weird. But I know that if my father was an African and my mother was a foundational Black American, I want my money from my mother's side. I'm supposed to get half of all your family foundational Black Americans and one of my relatives not. I'm still supposed to get my half. So what you would do, you would cheat my mother. You would say, well, since you married an African, since my mother married an African, or my father, let's say my father is FBA. So if my father married an African, he don't deserve what his family went through in slavery because of his wife? I don't know. His wife don't get no reparations, but he gets reparations. He's got his paperwork to show that he goes back to slavery. His wife paperwork ain't what he got to show. To get reparations, you got to show your paperwork. You don't have to show your wife's paperwork. So we got too many people talking about reparations that are doing it emotionally and don't have the facts straight, okay? That is a problem because there's too many people speaking on it without any accuracy, because reparations is based on lineage, and if anybody in your family could trace their specific lineage, they get money, regardless who they marry to. If their lineage still goes back there. Now, if you get married and it erases that lineage, yeah, but when you get married, that don't erase no lineage. That doesn't erase your lineage. That adds on to it. It adds another group to your lineage. But adding somebody to your lineage doesn't subtract those that's in your lineage. You can't marry out slavery if there's relatives that were slaves. You get money. You don't get as much as a person that both parents were slaves, but you get what the one's supposed to get. So he definitely is owed reparations. Because your reparations is your relatives that got cheated. So if Roland Martin's got relatives that got cheated, then he get that money. Am I right or am I wrong? See, people don't know what reparations is. Reparations is not your money. Reparations is a debt owed. And anybody that can trace themselves back to that debt gets paid. If I marry a Chinese woman and we have some children, there's no money on my kid's mother's side, but they still got to get my money, give my kid my money. How you going to tell me you're not going to give my son my money because his mama? His mama don't got no money coming, but daddy got money coming. Reparations is my money. And my money goes to my son. I don't care if I had who I had him by. Am I right or am I wrong? Reparations is not my son's money. Reparations is not my money. Reparations is the money that the slaves in my family didn't get paid. It's not your money. It's a debt owed. That debt does not go away as long as that bloodline is connected to that debt. That debt is still owed to the nearest relative. Show me any other way that money's not owed. Right now, if I got some inheritance and I pass away, and my son had passed away, and my son had had a baby by a Mexican lady, and I got a grandson, you telling me that you're not going to give my money to my grandson? That what you telling me? I'm confused. So you're not going to give my money to that's still my grandson, regardless of his mother, regardless if his mother's Mexican. That's my grandson. He's supposed to get my money. Am I right or am I wrong? If my grandson's blood go back to my daddy and then me, my son and then me, he gets my money. Regardless who his mama is. That don't got nothing to do with my money. Now, he don't get as much money as my other kids that got two foundational Black American relatives. They're going to get double the money of that son. Am I right or am I wrong? If let's say it's $100,000 for two parents. If it's one parent, you get 50. If it's two parents, you get 100. I don't know, I'm confused. If it go back, you might get 3/4. That's real easy to figure out. You might not get the whole amount if the whole lineage don't trace, but if any lineage there, you get whatever's there, however that lineage went, you get that. So yes, Roland is due reparations. Like, what the hell? Forefathers, small fathers, DNA. If the DNA is there, they get the money. If the DNA is there, the lineage is there, you get the money. This is a debt owed, and it's a debt owed that you can't pay the person you owe. And when you can't pay the person you owe, this is why Roland Martin filed, because he's due reparations and he ain't standing on it. He ain't standing on it. He letting them cheat his mom and daddy and his mom and daddy's parents that are foundation. He letting them cheat them. Now, I don't give a fuck what nobody say, because now when it get to that, then it's going to be rank and file. You're going to have to state your birth. You're going to have to state your name, your birth. You're going to have to read up, you know what I'm saying? If you want to challenge, I don't give a damn who you is. First thing I'm going to say is when you was born, where you from, when you start studying. That's what I'm going to say. This big pharaoh. So you don't want to, you don't want this. I know you don't want this smoke. Nobody. Like, I support all the younger brothers and stuff. But they can't support me. I'm up here. And you can't support me from the bottom. And I'm too heavy to hold me up. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm step on shit out here. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get that part straight. You get your money from your relatives. I don't give a damn who married to who. If they can trace your bloodline back without no interruptions, you get your reparations. As long as they can trace it back. Now, it gets divided up. That's all. Just like your DNA get divided up. Well, you thought wrong. Go do your research. Stop thinking and know. I already told you. Roland Martin's mother and father's Foundation of Black Americans, his grandparents' Foundation of Black Americans, which is 4 grandparents, is 8 great-grandparents, and only one of them is Haitian. One, and the other 7 is Foundation of Black Americans. Get your facts straight. That's his great-grandparents. You have 2 parents. You have 4 grandparents. And you have 8 great-grandparents. And one of those is Haitian. So you're telling me that out of 8 grandparents. If one of them is Haitian, he don't get the money for the other 7. So now he not the 7 because of the 1. This is where it gets stupid at. See, this is one thing. When we push this reparation thing, we got to be careful because we're dealing with the internet. And we're dealing with the most uneducated group of young people ever. They don't got it. They didn't get no really good education. So we have to have patience and teach our young people because they're professional conclusion jumpers. Because anybody with any sense know, right, that you're supposed to get the money. Anybody with any sense know you're supposed to get the money. Okay, see, we're not dealing with, like you're dealing with emotions. I'm not dealing with emotions. I'm dealing with facts. I'm dealing with facts, brown sugar. If anybody in your family get owed reparations, it goes to you, period. Now, you can say it don't. When your check comes, send it to me. But reparations is a debt owed, and all debt owed go to the surviving family members. Am I right or am I wrong? All debt owed, do debt owed go to the surviving family members? Yes or no? Yes or no? If you pass away, listen, if you pass away and your children pass away, but you got grandchildren, and your son married a white lady and had your grandson, and your inheritance, don't your inheritance still go to your grandson? Yes or no? Do your inheritance, if your grandson mama's white, do your inheritance go to your grandson? Yes or no? Yes or no? You slow. I'm not going to waste my time, okay? I can't waste my time. You slow. Legally, yes. Okay. Reparations is legal. Reparations is legal. Now, they don't get as much. And see, that's never discussed. It's never discussed how reparations get broken up. I think I'm the only one to discuss that. That if my sister and her husband are both FBA and they have a son, and I'm with an Asian woman and have a son, my sister, her child gonna get more than mine. Mine only gonna get half. Am I right or am I wrong? If I marry an Asian woman and have a son, I'm foundational Black American and Asian, and my sister foundational Black American and her husband foundational Black American, don't her son get double with mine? Mine would only get half. Am I correct? Do we have any business people over here? So my sister's son would get the money from the mama and the daddy. My grandson or my son would only get the money from me. Am I correct? I'm just saying, right? Mine would only get the money from me. Mine wouldn't get as much as my sister's because my sister's son would get the money from the mama and the daddy. My son would only get the money from me. He wouldn't get no money from his mama. His mama, a Chinese lady. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, intelligent, legally, yes. My son would be able to take my lineage and show that his grandparents on my side all the way back to slavery, and you would have to pay him. We getting reparations from both family members. I don't think nobody's explaining to our young people. I'm not getting reparations from my daddy. I'm not getting reparations from my mama. I'm getting reparations from my father and my mother. That's 2 different lineages of slavery. See, I don't think y'all understand. We getting the bag from 2 family members. But you still get the bag if it's one. You just don't get as much. We haven't gotten to that point to talk about that. Everybody's not going to get the same reward. The reward is going to be based on lineage. And if one side of your family lineage go back, then you get it. And if the other family don't, you don't get nothing. If both don't, you don't get nothing. But it divides down. Just like, okay, 2 parents. Let me teach y'all the division, right? 2. 4 grandparents. It's all numbers, right? 8 great-grandparents. Am I correct? Okay, all right, okay. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Of course, we haven't gotten this far yet, so I do understand why it hasn't been discussed. I guess that's my job. Hold on. I guess that's my job. All right. Here it is. Leave it to Big Pharaoh. I'd like to help the younger generation. Can't say I didn't show you. You have 128 fifth great grandparents. You have 2 parents. You have 4 grandparents. You have 8 great grandparents. You have 16 great great grandparents. You have 32 great 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 grandparents. You have 64 great 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 grandparents. And you have 128 great 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 grandparents. Stay with your race. I'm a marry anybody I love. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just marrying you because you my race. You got to be a good wife. Yeah, I don't marry race. I would marry wife. I'm looking for a wife. I'm not looking for a race. Because you can marry a wife. She could be your race and be a scumbucket. She could be a prostitute. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. If we're going to do race, let's stop shooting each other. Why don't we try that part first? Because don't tell me nothing about getting married while y'all out here unaliving each other. You're skipping a big step, I think. We're not going to pretend like we get along. So for us to pretend that we supposed to some kind of magically only deal with our own race while we the number one people just shooting each other, that I do live in Chicago. I do live in Chicago. And if you get caught flipping in Chicago, they're not going to give a damn about you being black. They're going to rob you and they're going to unalive you. I just say it. I don't know. Ain't none of that. You ain't going to be able to say it, but I'm FBA. They're going to be like, nope, you RTB. Run that bag. You're going to be, you get caught in Chicago. You're going to be RTB. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be, give me the loot, give me the loot. They ain't trying to hear that, but it sounds sweet. It sounds sweet. It's not realistic. And then me, I'm going to sleep with who the hell I want to sleep with. Man, your goddamn business. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm not looking for a good race. I'm looking for a good woman. I ain't looking for no good race. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Now, if she cut herself and orange or yellow blood come out, I might not marry that one. Hey, I might not marry the one that don't bleed red. That might be going a little, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm gonna go that far. That if you cut yourself and yellow blood come out, I don't know if I'm gonna do that one. Because I might wake up on another planet, tied up, hooked up to machines. I don't even know what you is, you know what I'm saying? But that's all that is story for another day. But you know what I'm saying? Women have a lineage, they don't pass it down. No, I don't believe that. Lineage there's no such thing as lineage. Lineage is who you are. Women definitely pass down their bloodline, though. You pass down that blood. That baby got mixed blood. That baby ain't got the same blood as neither side. That baby don't look like. Sometimes the baby look like one of you, but most times the baby look like half and half. Got those mama's head, got your fingers, got his mama's legs, got your eyes. So I don't know about all that. All my babies was mixed up. You could see them and their mama and me. I ain't never had no baby where I just seen me. Y'all, y'all had a baby and all y'all seen was you. Y'all ain't see their mama in them. Y'all ain't seen y'all children mama in them. They don't look nothing like they ain't got none of the mama's aspects. So if you a dark brother and your wife light, that baby don't be lighter. That baby be just the same dark as you. Hell no, that baby be lighter. That baby be lighter. You look like your daddy, but I guarantee you, if I seen your dad and your mama, I bet you I could point out your mama. You just ain't look good. I bet you I could show your mama. I bet all of y'all got the other one. Go back and look. You gonna look more like one of them. I tell you something else too, Lorenzo. I tell you something else is deep too. And we're gonna get back to the conversation. I'm gonna tell you something real deep. Do you know you'll change with age? Do you know that you'll be born and you'll look just like your mama? Then you'll get 45 and look like your daddy. Y'all know that? Y'all ever seen that? Y'all ever seen the age change? You ain't ever noticed when you get older, you start looking more like the other one? Y'all ain't noticed that? Y'all ain't noticed that as you get older, you start looking more like the other one. Y'all ain't never noticed that? I swear to God you do. Go look at watch. Sometimes you might not see it till 55 or 60. I swear to God. Y'all know I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I swear. You'll grow up, you'll look just like your mama. Then your ass get 45, they be like, he look just like Randolph. You ain't never looked like Randolph. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Oh my soul, it's crazy. Like I looked a lot like my mama, but I got dimples. My mama didn't have no dimples. See, that's what I'm trying to say. It's little things. You gotta look for the little things. Hey, you know how I can always tell my children one thing my children always got, even if they look like their mama? They fingertips. All my babies get these. All of them. No matter how different they look, No matter how many different mamas they got, because I got some mamas, I got baby mamas. And all my children got my fingers tips. They might not got nothing else. Well, most of them got that slim look from my mother's side. But then, oh, I'll tell you something else too. You ever say you look like your daddy like 40, and one day somebody show you your daddy high school picture and you look like his high school picture. You don't look like your grown. You ever had that? Because his my daddy young pictures don't look like the daddy that had me. He a different daddy. He don't look my daddy when he was young, he don't look like my daddy that had me. He looked different. Yeah, when my daddy got out the military and young, he did not look like the man that had me. He looked different. His face was slimmer and all that. He looked different. I don't know. But yeah, another thing, if you don't look like your parents, go back and look at their kids' pictures. It'll freak you out. You'll be like, oh, I do look a little bit like him. Because, we change. So you might not look like your 40-year-old daddy, but you might look like you might not look like your 40-year-old daddy, but you might look like the 15-year-old one. Oh, my soul, it's creepy. It's deep, but it's in there. It's going to show up. It's going to show up in your life. You're going to see both parents. It's just crazy. You're going to see both parents as that child grow. You're going to see both of them. That's a fact. They still might lean more towards one, but you're going to see that other one. But the only thing is, to see that other one, you got to see all the different ways that other one used to look. That's the thing. That's why you don't think you look like them. Listen, y'all, real talk. This is something I learned. Certain things you only learn by living. You got to live to learn certain things. You can't read certain stuff in the book. I ain't lying. I can't find no young pictures of my father. I got to get one, and now I'll show you. Like young pictures of him is a different dude. Real talk. His head wasn't round like that. His head was more like my mother's head. But then that get into you eating all them cows and stuff. That's a whole nother. You eating them cows, and now you start getting a cow head. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. You eating pork and beef. So it ain't just your parents' DNA in you no more. You putting them creatures' DNA in you. And now you starting to look like them animals too. I don't want to take y'all that deep. Let's get back to what we was talking about. So Roland Martin was tripping. He be tripping because he don't ever respect reparations. And he really ain't standing on blackness. Now, the reason I say that, Roland Martin is a frat boy. And on his show, he got this dude always got on these African little shirts, uh, Dr. Greg Carr. And Dr. Greg Carr always played the African look. But the crazy thing about it is Roland Martin plays Greek. And brothers that really teach real African philosophy, they don't honor black people calling themselves Greeks. So what's funny about Roland is he calls himself a Greek. He a Greek. He promotes being Greek, which makes him obsolete when it talks about black culture, because basically he's a sellout. Once you join a sorority or fraternity, you have sold your culture out. Once you start pledging Greek, you've sold out. And so when I look at Roland and I look at the African brother foul because he's sitting there smiling with this dude, and Dr. Carr constantly teaching these African studies, but he never checked Roland for calling himself a Greek. That's a conflict of interest. Roland promotes that we Greek. He sold out his race. For him to be talking all this black stuff, but be pledging Greek, he fake. He fake. See, Roland ain't nothing but 57 years old. He finna be 58. He was born in 1968. I was born in 1958. So Roland really don't know nothing when it comes to black culture, the roots of this country. Because if you wasn't here if you wasn't old enough to see what's going on by like 1976 might be the last where you could know anything, you don't know nothing. So by the time Roland got what he know anything, it was 1988. He don't know shit. He don't know nothing about no civil rights. He wasn't here. So Roland is the black generation that sold out, that started becoming Alpha Kappa Dapper. He the sellout group. He the black bourgeoisie generation. He started promoting that we was Greeks. So for him, it makes sense he not honoring reparations because he been sold out. He's Greek. He Greek. The main thing he promotes is fraternities and sororities. That's when he gets the most exciting. On that show, Roland gets most excited when he's going to be around them fraternities. Oh, he's just so bubbly. He don't promote black culture. He promote black people selling out their heritage. Because that generation sold us out. His generation is the one that sold black people down the drain. His generation is the reason we didn't keep moving forward. That's a fact. His generation. Roland Martin's generation is the generation, the reason we're in the position we're in today. They became Europeans, Greeks. So he's sitting there with the Dr. Carr with the African clothes on with a Greek dude. I would never listen to Carr because he don't got the balls to check Roland and say, why are you a Greek? Dr. Carr, if you're watching, tell me any of these scholars, because you consider yourself a black scholar, tell me that your teachers, Henry Clark, Dr. Yosef Ben-Jacques Hannon, or Chancellor Williams, will honor a black person calling themselves Greek. or joining a Greek fraternity or sorority. Tell me that. Because you got your little African clothes on, but you're sitting there with a brother calling himself a Greek. So Roland doesn't have the cultural strength really to represent us. He doesn't. He's a frat boy. He's not really black. He's a frat. That's not black. He's a frat boy. He's Greek. Imagine the concept when black people started teaching each other they was Greeks. After all we've been through as black people. Just let that sink in. Imagine when we got to the point where they started pushing to our children that they was Greeks, call themselves Greeks. When the Greeks studied in Kemet. Everything the Greeks learned was from Kemet. So you going to college for higher learning and you calling yourself the people that learned from the black people. The Greeks learned everything from the blacks in Kemet. Why would you name yourself after the people that learned from the black DNA? Why would you call yourself the students? The Greeks is the students. The Romans is the students. The British is, those are students. The Spanish. They learned everything from the Moors. So I'm trying to look at them. How is they on this show like they represent education and knowledge when they selling a slave mentality? Because fraternities and sororities are slaves. They look up to the Greeks. They don't use black alphabets. They don't use hieroglyphics. They don't have any Kemetic fraternities. They got Greek, they Greeks. Roland is a Greek. He's not a black man. He's a Greek. He's got no knowledge. Not only is he a Greek, he don't even take care of himself. Roland knows everything except this. Black Americans face significant health disparities, experiencing higher rates and earlier onset of chronic conditions. Major challenges include hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, certain cancers, and sickle cell anemia. Systemic inequities and socioeconomic barriers heavily influence these outcomes. So now let me get this straight. Martin gonna claim he trying to help black people go into the future. How when he unaliving himself? How when he's a bad representation of black people? Every time you turn on and see Roland, you see a horrible reputation of a black man. You see a black man that knows everything but how to take care of himself. According to the real teachers we taught, if you cannot take care of yourself, you're not qualified to talk to anybody. Roland is not qualified to open his mouth. He looks a mess. He don't look like he's going to be around much longer. You can't even see his neck. He has no self-control. All right, okay, they're over there trying to teach all the stuff black people can do, which means you're going to have some type of self-control. Well, if you can't eat and take care of yourself, how are you going to teach young black people about economic self-control, about political self-control? And your head this big, your neck, we can't see your neck, and you sick. You sick. You can't even take care of yourself. How is he qualified? Because the number one form of learning is sight. Sight trumps your mouth. So when we look at him, we see ignorance. When I look at Roland, I see a person that can't even take care of themselves. When I listen to him, I hear a black man that claims to be a white Greek that loves Greeks, that tried to make a black sorority or black fraternity be European, Greek, and has no problem with identifying as Greek. None. What can he teach us or tell us? Nothing. Nothing. I mean, if you're a foundational black American, what does that mean if you got high blood pressure medicine and you ain't gonna be around next year? Well, I'm gonna still be kicking flavor in your ear. I'm gonna still be kicking flavor in their ear, but you won't be around next year because what is you eating? And so, and then you got the African dude, the Dr. Greg Carr, and all he's doing is pimping Africanism to me by putting them little outfits on. But his mannerisms is a white man. Yeah, Dr. Greg Carr, all his mannerisms is a European. He looks like a European man with an African shirt on. To me, there's nothing really black about him. Because when we get in these educational systems, they just don't give us the education. They change the way we talk, look. You have to be European acting to be successful in today's education system. You basically have to sell your soul. You can't have no soul power. So the brother with the African clothes on, he looked just like a white man with an African shirt on. His mannerisms and everything. There's nothing really black about dude. I'm going to keep it real. Nothing. He's trying to turn that scholastically. For sure, he has no plans for Africa. So all of his teachings is trash. Nothing that these men taught me is of any value. The only one that had some value was Dr. Henry Clark. The other two, no. Chancellor Williams, Dr. Ben, no. No value information. Henry Clark had value in his information because he was talking about what we need to do here. But Dr. Ben was talking about ancient Egypt, and Chancellor Williams was talking about way back in Africa, which is basically disposable knowledge. That's why I don't teach it. That's why I threw it in the garbage. I threw it in the garbage because it wasn't nothing that we could apply. You can't apply nothing from ancient Egypt. It's not applicable. And if you're a teacher or if you're looking for leadership in the black community, then you're supposed to be looking for something that gives results. And talking about Egypt all day don't get no results. That's why Cyril soon said he's a failure and don't know what to do and trying to figure out a new path and doing gossip and everything because he had too much pride to throw that Egyptian shit in the trash and come and talk to black people about what's really going on. Because I'm one of the few that no matter what I'm doing, as soon as it's trash, I throw it away. And then people say, well, you were saying this. Yeah, I was. To me, that make me look even better that I ain't saying that shit no more. I'm the first one that once I see something I'm saying and I see it's non-beneficial, I'm the first one to say, man, I ain't teaching that bullshit no more. That shit not beneficial. Pan-Africanism that I learned and came up under is garbage. That's why I don't deal with it no more. I'm not one of these people that see as garbage, but because I got so much pride and because I did it so long, then I come to y'all and just keep pushing something when I've already seen that I need to make a change. And so I need to come and push the change to y'all, not that old shit that I done already seen. It ain't it. When I started studying Pan-Africanism and stuff, I was a baby. So I wasn't able to see the outcome. I wasn't able to see what was going on. I hadn't had no personal contact with Africans. But as you start, because Africans wasn't here like that yet. They didn't start coming heavy until you get to the 90s. Now they did start coming in the 80s. They start, black immigrants started trickling in the 70s because black immigrants didn't come up here until we made it sweet. Facts again. When we was walking and we was boycotting the buses and we was getting water hose sprayed on us and when we was fighting for black power, there no Africans or no Caribbeans run up over here. But once we got to civil rights, we started getting money. We could walk around. That's when the black immigrants ran over here vampiring on our success. And they didn't come to finish building that success. And that's why I don't like black immigrants. Because black immigrants, we was foundational black Americans and we was competing against white America. And then black immigrants came and started competing against us. They don't compete against white America. They come in and they try to take from us. We was trying to move into to get a bigger piece of the pie. White America got off our slavery. See, white America, everything they got came from free labor, from slavery. So we were trying to chip away at that. The black immigrants come and chip away at what we doing and start to attack us and start going to us. They scared of white America, and I'll tell Roland to his face, and I'll tell that dude with them African clothes on to his face. Africans have sold out black Americans and the Caribbeans. They've sold out our struggle. They are ops. They want to chip away at what we got. We trying to chip away from white America. They trying to chip away from us. That's the difference between foundational black Americans and black immigrants. Black immigrants did not come here and join us to chip away and make moves against white America within their structure and get what we supposed to get on TV and radio and sports. They didn't do that. They didn't come here like Jesse Owens and Gail Sayers and Muhammad Ali. They didn't come like that. We have been always competing against white America. Black immigrants compete against us. Now, Roland Martin, he don't have no show where he'll bring me on to express that, where he can't overtalk me. Because I'm going to tell him right there, listen, Roland, we're going to have this conversation. Don't try to overtalk me. Because I'm the only one get on this show and say, Roland, I watch your show, but you're a little boy. Have some respect. And what I'll tell him to his face, 1958, 1968. It get to a point, Roland, where you got to shut up and learn too. You don't know shit till 1988. Because you really ain't functioning until you're 20. So I'm born 1958. I'm not functioning strong till 78. What I'm doing in 68, I'm 10 years old. Am I lying? What I know at 10 years old? What kind of moves can I make at 10 years old? So Roland born in 1968. He ain't making no moves till 88. And if you look at 1988, that's when foundational black America, that's when everything went down. Everything we had, we started losing it by the 90s. Everything. Tell me I'm lying. Everything we built from the MLK era and the civil rights movement, when did we lose it? When Roland and them got 20. They the ones came and shitted on the Black Panthers. And Roland is the one that came and told our kids we Greeks. We was trying to get our kids to be black. He told them be Greek. To get with a bunch of full-grown men. Yeah, grown-ass men. In some little matching outfits. Well, we supposed to send them, they supposed to go to school and get a higher learning. They come back Greeks. We send you to school black. You come back a black European. Anytime a black man call himself Greek, he's a sellout. Guys, women calling themselves Greek. The brother on there with the thing on, why he ain't pushing no ancient black Kemetic sororities or fraternities? Why we don't have our traditional ways? Why don't we have black sororities and fraternities? Why we Greek? Why we got Greek letters? Why we don't got our own letters? When the Greeks learned everything from us. How the Greeks represent education when the first time you read about the Greeks, they go into study with Imhotep. Make it make some sense. How you put them with education and learning over Imhotep? So our kids go to school, come out and say they Greeks. They don't know nothing about Imhotep. They don't know nothing about none of the pharaohs. They don't know nothing about no Ethiopian civilization or nothing that we did. Listening to Roland. That's a Greek. And got the nerve to speak on foundational Black America. Okay, do I want to be a foundational Black America or do I want to be a Greek? Do I want to be a Black American, a foundational Black American like Tyreek, or do I want to be a Greek like Roland? When are we going to tell our children, you can't be in no Greek fraternity sorority, start a black one? Start a black one. What's up with that? No, they ain't gonna do nothing like that. You don't see Roland speak up for reparations? None. You don't see Umar speak up for reparations? None. These are sellouts. And like I said, Roland there and Black Americans face significant health disparities, experiencing higher rates and earlier onsets of chronic conditions. Major challenges include hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, certain cancers, and sickle cell anemia. Systemic inequities and socioeconomic barriers heavily influence these outcomes. Now, how you so black, you don't take care of yourself, you look sick. Every time we turn on your show, you sick, you fat, your head big, we can't see your neck, you sick. One of the biggest problems with Black America is their health. So how is Roland helping Black people? What good is voting and all, anything he talk about, what good is it if you're sick? How is this show good when one of the top 3 problems, if not number 1, for Black America is health? What good is his show? Yeah, he's 10 years younger than me. Key health issues disproportionately affecting the Black community include cardiovascular disease and hypertension. Black adults have some of the highest rates of high blood pressure in the world. They are 35% more likely to pass away from heart disease and more likely to have a stroke than white adults. Diabetes. Black Americans are nearly twice as likely to develop type 2 diabetes and face higher rates of complications such as end-stage renal disease. Him and Dr. Greg, nothing, quiet. Claims he's got a great show. Cancer. While incidence rates for some cancers are comparable, Black people face higher death rates and shorter survival times across most cancer types. Across all the cancer types, we got it the most. For example, Black women are 41% more likely to pass away from breast cancer, and Black men are twice as likely to pass away from prostate cancer. Sickle cell disease. This inherited red blood cell disorder primarily affects people of African descent, with approximately 1 in 13 Black Americans carrying the sickle cell trait. Mental health. Black pregnant people experience the highest maternal mortality rates in the U.S. and are nearly 3 times more likely to pass away from pregnancy-related complications than white pregnant people. Notice they're saying people, that's their LGBTQ stuff, all right? Mental health. Mental health conditions are often underdiagnosed in the Black community, driven by barriers of culturally competent care, economic disparities, and the physiological toll of chronic stress and racial discrimination. And Martin claims he got information for the Black community. His head this big. He looks sick. Every time I watch Martin, the main thing I be concerned for him. I be like, damn, Martin. Every time I watch him, I ain't lying, I could barely hear what he's saying because I hate to see him like that. I ain't lying. I hate to see Martin. I said, come on, bro. He always been not eating right, even when he was on CNN and on them. But look at him now. And he'll swear he bring information to the Black community. But what information do he bring to the Black community? We don't take care of itself. Seriously, what information does he bring to the Black community where he don't even take care of himself at all? None. None. And because he don't take care of himself, he don't talk about it. He's a horrible person to be on a show because he's one-sided and he won't come outside his lane. His show is horrible because he's supposed to be a professional and he's supposed to have open conversations about reparations. He's not just supposed to shut it down just because he don't like it. There's nothing I won't talk about over here. And when I get my live show, there'll be nobody that I won't bring unless they mess up the show with a bunch of foolish argument. But if they just want to have a conversation, I'll bring anybody. Roland does not, he only stays in the same lanes all the time. And the only time he's excited is for fraternity. He's not excited about no election or nothing. The thing that I watch him where he gets the most happiest is over that fraternity. A big ass grown man like that don't take care of himself, trying to put on some colors and go do some Greek dancing. Because that generation right there, they start pushing education. And people say, well, what's wrong with pushing education? When you push education, but you don't push what you do with the education, you're destructive to the community. Because they pushed education to go beg somebody for a job. They did not push education and knowledge to build for self. So now when they pushed all this education to get a job, thinking that they could battle the Europeans just brought in some Africans and Asians and stuff and paid them less. Let me tell you something. My daughter recently graduated from medical school. Roland ain't going to talk about this. And when I went to the graduation, there was no Black Americans there. Out of all of those families there was probably 5 Black American families. Every name they called to go across the stage was a foreigner or white. Everyone. Every young adult that graduated, that walked across that stage, had a foreign name from a foreign country. Every last one of them. It was barely any white Americans. There was more white Americans than us. But Black Americans didn't graduate from nursing school. A handful. Everybody else's name was Asian, some kind of Greek or some from European name. Not no American white names either. Not no white Americans either. Foreigners. Because that generation there, they dropped the ball. They didn't want to be pro-Black like us. Because my generation, we went through 2 phases of Blackness. We went through the Black Power movement, and then we went to the Pan-African movement. And that's where we messed up. We should have stayed with the Black Power. Pan-Africanism threw a lot of pro-Black power people off their square. That's where we went wrong. We was young though. We was just, how do I know? I'm only in my 20s. So I don't know this is the wrong way to go. I'm only 20. They replaced Black power with Pan-Africanism. And Pan-Africanism destroyed our movement totally. It's the worst thing we could ever did. The worst thing that foundational Black Americans could have did was drop the Black Power movement for the Pan-African. We should have stayed with the Black Power. We should have never messed with the Pan-African. Because the Pan-African was fake, and the other people from other countries that was in the Pan-African, they were some haters. They wasn't really into no unified Black love like that. The Jamaicans that was pushing Pan-Africanism never moved to Africa and let the Chinese take Jamaica from them. That tollway they got down there, where everybody got to take, the Chinese built that. And every toll goes to China. Those hotels down there, them hotels is owned by Europeans and Chinese. And the Jamaicans can't even go catch no fish or nothing because they put a big old wall up there. Some of the older Jamaicans and middle-aged Jamaican men, they would take their boats out there and go catch fish. They walled all of that off, ran them out of business. They can't even feed their families. It's so bad that they wouldn't give Bob Marley's son a hotel room. Bob Marley's son, not a hotel room. He tried to rent like one of these little, what you call them? It's a little place, like a little lodge, like. He tried to rent one of those, right, where you go stay. They denied him. Bob Marley, Ziggy. But Ziggy sold out the movement. It ain't nothing Black about Ziggy and his family. Ziggy took over from Bob Marley and soul reggae all the way down the drain. Yeah, they diluted the black and they made us look towards Africa and they sold us African because we didn't know that Africans weren't Africans. So they never told us that Africa wasn't Africa, Robert, Mustafa. They had us thinking Africa was Africa because we didn't have social media. We didn't have social media, so we didn't know nothing about Africa. So we thought there was, now we know there's no such place as Africa as far as it's a continent, a landmass, but as far as like a people, there's no such thing as Africans. So they had us thinking there was such a thing as Africans. Well, if there's such a thing as Africans, why are the Zulus running out the Ghanaians and the Nigerians and everybody? Because they're not Africans. They Zulu. So Pan-Africanism was a failure. So that brother over there on Roland show, Dr. Greg Carr with the African clothes on, he ain't got nothing else to do because Pan-Africanism is washed. He don't want to let it go. So he's still trying to have that phony African look. He need to take that shit off and just be regular. He ain't never going to go to Africa. And Roland Martin ain't going to push Africa because Roland Martin is nothing but a flunky for the Democratic Party. That's his job. Roland Martin's job is to do whatever white Democrats tell him to do at election time. That's it. And Roland Martin is not going to speak for black people because if he would have said something when Carmela got there talking about she helping minorities. And look at who the minorities was. So this is why him and Tariq don't get along, because Tariq Nasheed knows that the Democrats like Roland Martin are letting the system replace us with immigrants. They're traitors and sellouts, including Roland Martin. He will never speak on this. If he was a stand-up dude, as soon as she took that picture, Roland should have been going off. It's one black girl in the back. This is replacement politics. And that's why they call them Democratic shields. They dare to shield the Democratic Party for the Democratic Party to sell black Americans down the drain. The Democratic Party has been co-opted. And what better way to co-opt it, right? You got to have some blacks in there. So the way they co-opt it, put a dude that clings to Haiti, or put a dude that clings to Africa. Don't put no foundational black American there. Put one of these blacks that don't really have no strong connection to the history of blacks in America, and they'll sell you out. Like Roland, he'll sell us down the drain because he holds on to that Haitian part of him. So he says nobody should look at him like a Haitian. And he's right, but he looks at himself as a Haitian. He comes off as a tether. That's what he don't understand. He acts like a tether. Nobody's just calling him a tether. Even though he's got that small fraction of Haitian, he does not identify with black Americans, with foundational black Americans. Not even in college, he's Greek. He's Greek. He's got the brother on there. That's why he got the brother always on there with the African clothes on. Anything that won't deal with us. That's why he got Dr. Greg on there with the African outfit on. Because they don't care nothing about us. Dr. Greg is here to try to help Africans come in here and take our jobs and stuff. He support that. That's what he support. They don't really support black Americans like that. They're not really there for our benefit like that. Roland don't even take care of himself. How's he going to help us? Dick Gregory would have told you that. And when you look at a man like Roland Martin don't take care of himself, you're going to listen to him to tell you what to do to better yourself? He don't even take care of himself. He ain't in no position. He shouldn't be talking to us. Roland always talking to us like how strong we should be politically. He tried to eat better, and how strong was he? You failed. He got no strength. He knows that he can get donations from the Democratic candidate when they run. They all have Harris in there. Then he can get some of that campaign money to promote her. We all know that. Money comes in and it's for promotion. It's a business. And so when the Democratic candidate get money, all I got to do is call them and I can get some money. Listen, I promoted Harris constantly, but I did it because I was trying to help my daughters. I kept saying that went over people's head. I wanted to see a woman in there. I didn't give a damn. I wanted Hillary to win. I wanted a woman. I got daughters. I want my daughters to be able to have something to look up to. But I don't talk about that because black people eat so bad. When I start talking deep, your gland is calcified, your pineal gland. So you can only think on the animal side. So when I start talking deep, that knowledge can't transfer to the other side. So you're going to take the morbid, more animalistic, it's going side of what I'm saying. You can't do the cosmic, side. You're going to fly over your head because you eat all them dead animals and stuff. So as soon as I say I was helping a woman, that's all you hear. Woman. Saying like a caveman. All other stuff I say, I'm trying to help my daughters, right? You ain't gonna hear none of that part. I say I want to see a woman get in there because I want to use that to encourage my daughters to get a higher education. You won't hear none of that second part. You'll throw that, which to me is the important part. But to weirdos on the internet, the important part is all they know is I said a woman. I had to help a woman. Regardless of the reason why, very few people ever repeated that back to me. They say, you said you support Harris. I said, I want to see a woman win so I could use that to encourage my granddaughters and my daughters to further their education. To say, look, there's a successful woman. You could be successful. The fact that nobody bought into that conversation, that's another whole video. That's what I'm saying. That's how I be looking at stuff like, oh, so you didn't hear none of that part. Oh, okay, and you wonder what's wrong with us. But you mad if a bunch of tethers play movie roles. But what I said about a woman encouraging my daughters, now you want a foundational Black American to encourage your kids. Same thing I was saying. Same reason I want to see a woman be president is the same reason you want to see foundational Black Americans in the movies. The same reason for your children to be inspired by their own. Same shit. Unless I'm lying, that ain't the same. That's the same. I always use politics for my children. I don't use it for me. I use success for my children and my grandchildren. That's what I use success for. I use Black success for my children. Over your head, I know. Because you don't realize that white people use white success for their children. Tell me I'm lying. White people don't use white success to motivate their children? They don't hype up a white president for their children? Look, Trump is great, right? They don't do that? White people don't use white success to encourage their children to be successful? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Yes or no? Look. Ghana talking about reparations, right? Look. Look. This is how they do it. Ghana has the 3 major slave castles that served as central hubs during the transatlantic slave trade. However, these castles are part of a much larger network of around 30 surviving fortified structures, including smaller forts and trade posts, that still line the Ghanaian coast today. At the height of the slave trade, there were more than 60 of these commercial strongholds packed along a 300-mile stretch of the coastline. So let me get this straight. Ghana sold the slaves, and Ghana wants reparations. The ones that sold the slaves want reparations. And they not slaves. They never been no damn slaves. They never been no slaves. They the slave sellers. What cotton they picked? This just show you that Africans is ops. They opposition. You ain't never heard about Ghana asking for no reparations until our movement got strong. Y'all don't think it's funny they ask for reparations now while we pushing hard? That ain't no snake. That's not a snake move. That's not a snake move that the place that got slave castles is asking for reparations. Never ask for reparations for us. Never ask for reparations for the people they sold. Oh, don't. Look, they supposed to be the main ones pushing for reparations for us. Am I right or am I wrong? If you had the slave castles, you're supposed to be pushing for reparations of the slaves that was taken from the castle. They asked for reparations for the people that lived there where the castles was at, that never went into slavery. If you'd have went into slavery, you wouldn't be in Ghana. And what is Roland gonna say about it? Nothing. What is Dr. Greg Carr with his little African clothes on? He ain't gonna say nothing. Yeah, that's a snake move. You the slave seller and you want reparations. No, they saying that to make reparations look ridiculous, to hurt us. You gotta understand, Africans don't want us to have nothing. They don't like us. They don't like our success.